out eccsc. Welcome once again, man. It's been a long time coming. This is the Frontline Show. I'm your host, Tyrone Muhammad on IntellectualRadio.com. And we got a great show, and I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to hold your calls for a minute, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but we going to, after the next break, I'm gonna allow y'all to call in and ask this great brother we're about to introduce to you all a question or two. I know how y'all do out there in eccsc land, but you know the drill. Live call in 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. That's IntellectualRadio.com. And this is the Frontline Show. I'm your host, Tyrone Muhammad, sponsored by eccsc and hashtag support your local weed man. Hashtag support your local weed man. And hashtag support your local weed man. For you all out there that's tuning in that don't understand what we mean by support your local weed man, we're not telling you to go out. And we always got to emphasize to do anything illegal. What we're saying is that we're in a state of emergency when that only white men, 99% of the license that's given to open legal cannabis dispensaries are only given to white men. I'm going to repeat. The inequities in the cannabis industry, while black men from the 1985 Clinton war, Reagan war on drugs, and the 1994 Clinton crime bill ushered in black men by the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions across this country. For 50 years, we've had mass incarceration over cannabis and other substances. 50 years, weed has supplied America in our communities. And we've been going to prison, getting our homes seized, our cars seized for a small amount of cannabis. Took our cars, took our homes, took everything, and we haven't received them back as well. So now they have made weed legal, and we on the outside looking in again. They told you lottery would serve your community and your schools. They told you all those things. Now here we go again. Our elected officials have allowed for them to marginalize us, even in the industry that we built. Make no mistake about it. Our communities built a black market that is weed that white men knew and understood that once they get their lobbyists and lawyers on, they can carve up the billions that was in Chicago. Chicago is $7 billion black market in cannabis. Already the MSO, that's multi-state operators, have already carved up $2 million last year in cannabis. $2 billion. Thank y'all, brother. $2 billion in cannabis revenue. And then they said that 30% of the taxes that's collected from the cannabis sales of these dispensaries goes towards violence prevention, prison reform, social justice, reentry, and mentor program. eccsc is one of the premier violence prevention interventions, anti-violence group, mentor program, organization, reentry organization, hence our name, and we ain't seen a dime of it. So we know it's a joke. With that being said, thank y'all for tuning in to the Frontline Show on Intellectual Radio.
Live, man. Talk about it Tuesday.
Now, real quick, our guest that we're about to introduce to you is the great David Shanks, right? Homegrown. Where you from, David?
93rd and University.
93rd and University.
Tie and trade all day.
The actor, executive producer of 61st Street and the barbershop, right?
That's right.
The barbershop.
That's right.
Y'all know the Cube barbershop. What else you do? The Shy, writer of the Shy.
Wrote on 7
Shy.
7 seconds.
7 seconds. Oh man, listen, man.
Check his
We
catalog
got
out. Google.
Man, listen, y'all better be thorough. If he with us, you know he thorough. So put some respect on his name. Let's tune in, people. Let's call in. Give us about 15 minutes because I want David, man. He got a great story, and I'm gonna start it off like this here. David Shanks. Thank you for coming, man, and thank you for being a part of our broadcast.
Hey, Brother Muhammad, I appreciate y'all having me. You and Brother Sherman have done nothing but show me extreme love 61st Street, we use the eccsc facility to shoot some scene work for 61st Street. It's an AMC series that'll be released, I think, April 10th. But it's a good representation of Chicago. It's a social justice piece. So it definitely, will pull, an audience, and it'll speak to our people in a real way.
The fact, man, thank you for using our facility. And that was a great blessing, because I know that's God, and the fact that we're brothers today.
Yep.
And oftentimes that's how it end up being. You don't even know who God is gonna link you with, and how that look moving forward in our endeavors. With born and raised in Chicago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actor.
Yes, sir. Writer.
Writer, producer.
That's it.
And hey, man, believe it or not, this guy used to be a police officer in Chicago.
Sixth district, worked in 3, taught at the academy, worked at area 2 out there on 111 for a little while.
7, is it 2? 111. No, that's it.
Worked out there on 111 for a little while, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I'm a homegrown kid right here. Like I said, Southside Chicago my whole life.
So when I think of all them shows, right, and all the people, and that, believe it or not, man, Courtney B. Vance was there on set, and he's a great good friend now of ECCSC.
Yep.
But him and David are brothers, and we've been in talks about a lot of things that we'll be doing real soon.
Yeah, y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned.
But
please.
At the end of the day, man, listen, he's the most. Man, I've seen you. Listen, man, I ain't really understand. I just thought you was an actor, right?
Yeah.
I didn't understand before I met you. All the writing you did and all the different how you entered the industry.
Yeah.
Tell the people a little something about that, being from Chicago.
Yeah.
Being a Chicago police officer,
yeah.
and then becoming an actor and an executive producer of shows, movies. I mean, television.
Yeah.
Historic movies.
Yeah, it's a crazy journey, but I feel like this. I mean, and I'm just keeping it completely real and just being transparent. It was God. I'm in the car with my partner one night. I'm working in the 6th District, 78th and Halsted. We get a call of a domestic. I think we had to go like maybe 81st and Wallace or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So we roll over there, and when we get there, this dude is banging his sister's head off of a hardwood floor. It looked like a basketball, real talk. And so we wrestle the cat off. We handcuff him. We walking him out. And just as we walking the dude out, Tyrone, I promise you, the sister turns and she's like, "Wait a minute, I don't want him to go. I'm not gonna press no charges. I'm not gonna press no charges. I want y'all to let him go." I said, "Look, lady, we saw what he was doing to you. So this ain't even about you no more. We saw it. So he got to go. He got to go with us." So as we're walking out the apartment, we get to the steps, 3rd floor. We're walking down the steps. This sister jumps on my partner's back, and all 4 of us go tumbling down the stairs.
Wow.
So we call another car. Now we got to take her to jail, right? And we get to the station. We do the paperwork. We get back out in the car. I'm pissed. And my partner, he kind of laughing, and the reason he's laughing is because sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying, man. I mean, because it's just so sad, man, and just so. And he was like, "Dave, come on, man. You know how this is. Let that go, man." I was like, "No." I said, first of all, I'm not built for this. I'm just not. I was telling the brothers earlier, y'all, I'm not no big dude. I ain't built to be the police. I'm just not. I took the job because I got out the Army. It was an opportunity for me to be able to take care of me and my son, gave me some benefits, and that's what it was, right? I ran into too many of my partners and too many of my relatives, while I was on the job, to really be that dude. But long story short, my partner was like, well, if you don't want to do this, how you gonna feed your family? How you gonna eat? What you gonna do? And I said, I'm an artist, man. I just don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that's going to manifest itself, but I know I'm an artist, and that's what I was supposed to do. And what I would do when we would be riding around, I would scribble down poetry and rhymes, and as a cop, you watch people all day. So as you people watching, I'm asking questions about cats. Man, I wonder how he ended up there. or I wonder why this sister does this, or why did this happen. I'm constantly studying character and people. And you listen to stories all day long, as a police officer. So that was a lot of it. So, but long story short, the following morning, because we worked midnights after we fell down the steps, I said,
This the next morning.
this is the next morning.
All right.
I got in the car. I went downtown to Columbia College. I enrolled at Columbia as a theater major and a playwriting minor, right?
Wow.
Because I hadn't finished my undergraduate, work. Told y'all I flunked out of FAM. I'm down there doing everything except what I was supposed to be doing. But long story short, I enrolled at Columbia and hooked up with a lot of the filmmakers down there and just started, honing my craft as an actor, right? That was the primary thing. George Tillman and Bob Title, the producers of Barbershop, came back to Chicago. They're alumni of Columbia.
Okay.
And they said, look, we're getting ready to do a movie. We want to work with as many, people from Chicago as possible. Now, what they meant by work with, they meant like the behind the scenes stuff, maybe or extras or, if you, because they were dealing with the film school, they were like, hey, look, if you guys are looking to PA or you want to come, or what have you, we might be able to find a spot for you. I bugged everybody that I could to try to get an audition for a role in the show, in the movie. And what I did was I read the role of Lamar. So the dude who goes into the barbershop, steals the haircut, and then, comes back later, and pays.
Right.
So when I auditioned for the role, I went down there in character. So I'm walking from my car with this, I got some glasses. I taped the middle of them, this real goofy kind of coat. And I had some floods on and white socks. And, I went in character. And I auditioned, and I think maybe a month, maybe 2 months went by. So I thought I didn't get it. And people called me and was like, yeah, man, we want to offer you the role. I was like, oh, snap. So I was telling Tyrone that, I'm still working midnights on the police department. Call time was 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So I had to take some time on the end, which, your overtime, you stack it up. So I took 2 hours on the end so I could get to set on time. And what my partner would do is he would turn on the lights and sirens and we would ride across 79th Street, because the real barbershop was 79th and East End. We ride from 79th and Halsted, flying across 79th Street.
Wow.
I jump out the car. I scared the hell out of the producers one day because the car lights went. Oh my God, the police! What happened? What happened? And then I jumped out, but ran to the trailer to go change my clothes and then go to hair and makeup and then went to set. It was an amazing experience, man. It really, really was. But what it showed me was, I think that was God's way of saying, hey, son, this is what I got in store for you. So Barbershop was really just a peek.
Put some hearts up there, man. Y'all heard that?
What it was. And and it just sort of went from there, man. They came back, they did the sequel. I'm still on the job. But I told my wife, I said, babe, I can't keep doing this. So let's move to LA.
Good.
No job.
I
didn't know nobody.
Man,
hey man, listen,
man,
I didn't no
wanna
job,
talk
no
about
gig.
That,
Yeah.
Women just
I didn't.
your vision, your
Yeah.
dream,
Hey, man,
fighting
listen.
and working and uproot themselves to live in your vision, your dream, bro, is a special thing, man.
Yeah.
That don't happen
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
You'll see more of it.
Yeah.
How
How about this, Tyrone? The hardest conversation was telling her mama, right? I'm finna give up this good city job with all these benefits.
We love city
And
jobs,
right, you got to have that good city job. We had just bought a house. We hadn't been in the house for 2 years at that point. It's tough, man. And my mother-in-law was like, "Oh, okay, well, baby, are you gonna join the police department when you get to LA?" I said, "No, Mama, I could stay here and do that. I'm finna go and go really go do this." And she said, "You know what, David? You've always been the type of man to take care of my daughter, and I trust you with that." Now, mind you, my middle son, I think, was 3, and Tiff was pregnant with our baby girl.
Shout out Tiff. I ain't met you,
Right?
but sister, you dope.
Hey,
Shout
and
out to
and she said, "You know what? I'll live with you in a box. Let's go."
Hey,
Wow.
sisters, y'all better pay attention.
We
live in a box.
I live in a box with you. Let's go. We got to LA. So I stayed on the job for another 6 months, stacked all our
You
paychecks.
didn't cry when she said that?
Man,
You
know I did. My mother-in-law, because mother-in-law let us move into the house with her. We sold our house and we just stacked all our money, right? I pulled my pension down and we moved to LA. And praise God, the lights never got cut off. We ain't never missed rent. The kids, for a little while, struggled because we couldn't really get them the stuff that they want because LA is expensive as hell. Man. It just is. And but 4 months after we moved out there, I booked my first thing. I think I got like a little spot on The Shield, that TV show with Michael J. Yeah. And then that turned into 11 episodes. They didn't give me much, but they liked me. So the producers kept, hey, let's bring David back in here. So that, spun me into, I did The Shield, I did a Cold Case, I did Close to Home, I did, it started to really kind of take off, for me. Then the writer's strike.
I remember that.
So when the writer's strike hit, everything shut down. And then I sort of had to start all over again. But at that point, I'm working I'm in there. I'm hooked, man. I'm hooked. Yeah. But what was happening was when they figured out the thing with the strike and everybody got back to it, I couldn't really get that momentum back. I still hadn't finished my undergraduate work. Mm-hmm. So I enrolled at Columbia College, Hollywood, the film school, right? And I went to film school and finished my undergraduate work. Long story short, I'm working at Crate and Barrel in the stock room. My favorite book, y'all, is The Alchemist.
Yeah.
I read it probably twice a year. Mm-hmm. So it's a segment of The Alchemist. The Alchemist, for you all that don't know, is about a cat named Santiago. And he's on a journey to his destiny, right? God gives him a vision and says, look, this is what you're supposed to do. You got to move towards that. And he don't know how he going to do it, but he's obedient and he's just moving to it. So there's a metaphor in the book that I like to compare to Crate and Barrel. Because if you've ever been in that store before, it's real expensive stuff and it's all glass and it's all pretty and you don't want to you can't touch nothing. Exactly. Yeah. So it's that. Santiago worked in a glass shop. So straight character from the book. So it's a direct parallel to my walk and my journey. And while he's working in this shop, he's miserable.
Wow.
I was miserable at Crate and Barrel. I wasn't making no money. I'm going to take y'all a step further with it. My oldest boy went with us to LA and I was able to get him a job working with me in the stock room at Crate and Barrel. Check this out. I made probably 25 cents more than he did, than my baby.
Y'all listening, man. I hope y'all listening.
And at that point, just as a man, I'm asking myself, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong in this journey? God, this ain't what you told me this was going to be. But what I realized in that moment was that it was really about my attitude. And I couldn't blame outside factors about where I was in my walk. I had to take responsibility for where I was, but I had to assume the greater responsibility of taking myself from that place to where it was that I wanted to be.
Say that, man.
Right? So once I made the decision that I needed my life to change, God just started opening doors.
Oh, you do it?
I applied to grad school at USC. This really gonna kill y'all. So I applied to this program. I'm well in my 30s. I'm 38, 39 at that point. I'm talking about going back to grad school with these kids. And when I say kids, I mean 22, 23. You know what I mean? So I applied to this program and I get in. Praise God. But you need $2,000 to hold the seat for the program, to hold the space.
Even if you don't get in it, still have to sit there.
No. I'm in the program, but to assure them, because the program is so competitive, to assure that I'm going to be a part of the program and they can take that space away, I got to get them $2,000. I'm working at Crate and Barrel. I told you my baby, I make 25 cents more than my oldest son. So I ain't making no money. And here's the sad part about, just us as Black people. I didn't even know anybody that I could call and say, let me hold 2 stacks, you know what I mean? Until towards my dream. Wow. Didn't know nobody. And in hindsight, the church that I went to, I could have asked, you know what I mean, 20 people in the church, could I get $100? I could have, right? And they would have gave it to me. But that pride thing, you know what I mean? I couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm just messed up. I walk across the street to the mall. I go downstairs to the Banana Republic. I'm on my lunch break from Crate and Barrel. I go in the store. It's a sister in there. She said, would you fill out this credit card application for me, brother? I was like, look, sister, I got enough problems with credit and money. And, you know, last thing I need is that, you know, so I ain't going to do that. She said, look, whether you get it or not, they on my head about making people just fill the thing out. You'll be doing me a favor by just filling out the application. Just fill it out. Yeah. Hey, sister, okay, cool. Let me help you out. Fill the application out. I'm walking around. I'm about to leave the store. She calls me as I'm walking out. She says, sir, wait a minute. You got approved. I said, what? You got approved. Ask me how much the limit was
your limit
on the new credit card that I just got. Come on, $2,000.
No, he's in there crying again. Hey, you got this, man. This big cat Trey in crying.
I can't help it, man.
The limit on the credit card, y'all, I swear to God, was $2,000.
I know it.
Tyrone, I cried like a baby right there in the store. The girl was looking at me like, what's the matter, sir? But here's what I didn't know was happening, right? And this is why it's critical that you have a woman in your corner that's really in your corner, right? What my wife was doing was taking a little bit of money that we had, and she was paying the minimums on the credit, right? So now, where my credit was garbage, you know, my credit was actually good now.
You didn't even know.
And I didn't even know. I had no idea that that's what she had been doing. So long story short, I get in this program. It's the Peter Stark Producing Program at the University of Southern California. It's a part of USC's film school. And from there, man, you know, I did the program. I interned at 40, what was I telling y'all, Greg? 43, 44, 44 years old. I'm going to get coffee and dropping phone calls and messing up.
You 40 young people. 44 years old, interning, running. That means volunteering, man.
Yeah, 44.
Going to get coffee, a gopher flunky, all the names they want to call you.
I'll be that. Whatever, you know what I mean. And I felt like I was the first dude in the office, and I was the last dude to leave every day. Took the bus from the Valley in Los Angeles to HBO, so it was like a 2-hour trip.
HBO.
I mean, yeah.
You was an intern for HBO.
I was an intern at HBO. So while I'm working there as an intern, one of the executives, you know, he just kind of peeped me out. He was like, you know, Dave, you're a little old, you're a little long in the tooth, man, you know, to be an intern. What's your story? And then I told him, I said, you know, he's like, what you really want to do? I said, I want to write, I want to direct, I want to produce, I want to act, I want to do all of it. And he was like, you're a black man in this industry. You can do it. Because right now, the window is open, right? Why? Because they're saying that there are no black writers in the industry. They need you. If you can put something together, man, you're in a really good situation. Because I'm a cop, I'm coming from Chicago. I wrote a pilot about what it's like to be a cop in Chicago, working midnights. I called it Midnights and Six. That was my thesis project to graduate from grad school. Midnights and Six. Essentially what it is that you watch a really good cop become a bad cop in real time. Right. It starts with that first free cup of coffee and that free donut, right? That's where it starts. And then from there, it's just a real slow descent. And before you know it, you know where all not just that, but you know where all the dope spots are, you know where all the money is, you know, all the players. And if you need something, you can go get it. If you really out there, you know what I mean? You're really out there doing it, you know, you can do your thing. Yeah. So I write this 1-hour drama. I'm interning at HBO. One of the assistants sees me putting my packet together because you need that to graduate. It's my thesis, like the culmination of the program. She said, David, what are you working on? I said, this is my project. I wrote a script. And she was like, let me read it. Nah, I'm not going to let you read my little you know.
Like on that pride thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, and you know, they busy, man, and y'all making $1 million moves, you know, out here. I'm trying to get out of grad school, and you know, you ain't got time to read my little stuff. She took it,
Wow.
snatched it from me. Just give me that. And then, you know, came back the next day. She read it that night, and she was like, "David, this is good. Why didn't you say? I didn't know you could." You should go downstairs and talk to Scott Nemus, who ran Cinemax at the time.
Cinemax.
She gave it to Scott. Scott read it and said, "Look, man, this is really good. What are you gonna do with this?" And I was like, "I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna turn it in because I needed to graduate." And he was like, "No, after that, what do you want to do?" So I told him the whole lick. He said, "You should meet this cat named Ed Bonero." Now, Ed Bonero, for those of you that don't know, if you've watched Third Watch or what else? Yeah, Criminal Minds. He's the dude who created those shows.
Wow.
He was a cop in Chicago and moved his family to LA and was doing the exact same thing that I was, doing.
The
So
2000, the cops,
hey,
all
man,
this
look,
stuff is in line.
so once again, it's God, man, because I'm telling you, he orchestrating all of it. Yes. So he comes upstairs and he says to me, I want to sit down and talk to you, man. Call my assistant right now. Get on my book, and we need to sit down and talk. I said, okay, cool. I go to his office, and he said, I want to hire you, man. I'm gonna give you a job. And what he did was he gave me a job as a writer's assistant. It's the hardest job in Hollywood because imagine this conversation we having now is somebody in the corner who's typing feverishly, trying to get everything that we saying, every idea, all of the stuff. They got to organize all of that.
Right.
I don't type, y'all. I peck. So I mean, it was just tough. It was tough. But long story short, I get that gig, and Ed basically said to me, "I'm gonna help you, man. Do what you're trying to do." So he took my sample, right, and I didn't know he was doing it, but he gave it to his agent. His agent was a cat named Rob Keneally at CAA. CAA is one of the biggest talent agencies on the planet, right? So he gives Rob my script. Me and Tiffany at the crib, we watching the Academy Awards. And this is when, I don't know if y'all remember 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
So when Steve McQueen won for Best Adapted Screenplay, right? We fired up. Man, it's a brother, he did that. Da, 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 da. I'm checking my phone. I get an email from Rob Keneally. Now I'm ignorant now, because I mean, I'm from Chicago. I don't really know the players in LA like that. I got to Google this dude. Like, who is this emailing me, right? Because he was asking if we could have coffee.
Right.
I look him up. I'm like, man, this dude is pretty much a partner at this company. He asked me to come out, and he asked me to, talk about what I want to do and how I want to do it. And he basically said, let's keep the conversation going. And what that means in LA is I ain't gonna do nothing for you now, but I'll reach back. And if something good happened for you, because they don't want to help you build it.
I think he told us that, y'all. Let's keep the conversation going.
The conversation going.
I guess we at a point where we gonna do something now.
Gonna do something.
So
now.
we kept the conversation
Keep
going.
the conversation going.
And he said he learned well, right? He learned well. No, keep that, hold that thought. I want you to keep that, because we're gonna take a quick break. I want you to hold that thought, people. I know y'all want to call in. I'm gonna say it again: 708-223-8953. Call in to talk to David, man. This is a great story, and we want him to finish it for sure. Thank y'all. Stand by.
Wow.
Black man, this one for y'all. Damn. We got a new hashtag, Dante Wright, rest in peace, man, it's getting bad. This shit still happening in 2021. Cops can't tell the difference between a taser and a gun. The black man life is gone because of a mistake. Black lives don't matter because of the options you make. Fuck that. We gotta revolutionize. Tired of praying and marching. That shit is getting tired. Enough is enough. George Floyd was the last straw. Colonizer equals white cop. He think he but a law. Neo-neck 9 minutes. Justifiable no. All my cute and cold blood taking a job. Damn, I can't even go to the store to get some tea. Q eating Skittles. Question why caping it took a knee. And the disrespect to a fellow troop. Damn. Second Lieutenant Nazario. Veteran, this one's for you. Of a perfect praise. Nova. Shadows of your smile will always Go get entertainment. Yeah. I know I've been a little shy on my brothers. I apologize. Let me tell you that I love you. I recognize your strength and your presence and being dark in America. I know it ain't pleasant. Want us to feel sorry for everybody else. Built this nation off our back so they can live off the wealth. Stop Asian hate. For blacks hate, y'all ain't got a cure. I gotta get my ass beat to get a pedicure. Trying to look good. Tyrone Muhammad educating the hood. He stood up for black women, but y'all misunderstood. That brain was a symbol, no justice, no peace. Powerful warrior status. He a revolutionary to me. For my people and my freedom, I guess his blood in these streets. eccsc, keep fighting it, bringing that heat. Media, you keep twisting and turning, fabricating the facts. The truth hurts, done deal, we gon' prevail, you know that. Of a perfect praise. This shit still happening in 2021. Cops can tell the difference between a taser and a gun. For my people and my freedom, I get the blood in these streets.
Welcome back to the Intellectual Radio Show. This is the FrontLine Show on IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host, Tyrone Muhammad, man. We having a great conversation with our brother, friend, David Shanks, hometown legend, man, writer for Shy, executive producer, barbershop actor, barbershop writer. You wrote on that too, didn't you, a little bit?
Not on bar.
Okay, but all in all, man, we are blessed by his presence and what we have come to identify as a good brother and a friend. So, bro, thank you for coming through and blessing us with your presence, man. And
thank you.
We're gonna continue to learn and grow with you, man. And we thank you for, like, once again, just for taking the time. And we want to finish. The people want to hear that you finish that story. Look, Earl over there. Earl like we got. So we left off at.
So I think at this point, the guys at the agency.
What's it called? What you say the word is in Hollywood?
Let's keep the conversation.
Let's keep the conversation. Y'all remember he told us?
Let's keep the conversation going. And again, like I said, that's shorthand for I ain't got nothing for you right this second, but we gonna build.
Right.
And so what ended up happening was I go back to work. I'm still interning and still trying to figure it out. My man hires me as his writer's assistant.
Wow.
One of the writers on the show was a brother. He said, "Have you ever met this sister named Karen Horn?" I was like, "No." He said, "You should take a meeting with her." Now, Karen, what I didn't know, she was basically like a kingmaker in LA because she ran like the diversity arm for NBC Universal.
Wow.
Okay.
And her job was to go out and to find women, minorities, people in the LGBTQ community, marginalized people without any opportunity or real access to writing positions, directing positions, producing positions, internship opportunities to kind of put you in that lane or in that space. I take this meeting with Karen. Y'all, we talked about everything except the entertainment industry for about 2 hours.
Wow.
Just rapping, just really good conversation, good sister. At the end of the conversation, she says, "David, we're getting ready to do a television show with Jennifer Lopez, and she's gonna play a cop from New York, Shades of Blue. Have you heard about that?"
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I read it about it in the trades, and she said, "Would you like to meet with the showrunner?" Now, the showrunner is the person who created the show, wrote the series, or runs the writer's room and is an executive producer. It's basically somebody that can put you in position. He juiced up.
Yeah.
So I meet with the showrunner and the creator of the show. The creator of the show was this dude named Adi Hassak. Adi was an Israeli paratrooper. So me and him had because I was in the Army for a while, we had that background. So we talking on that kind of page. The showrunner is this cat named Jack Orman, white dude who kind of just laid in the cut the whole meeting for like an hour. He just didn't say a word. At the end of the conversation, he basically said, "So what's your plan?" And I said, "Well, I just graduated from SC, and I'm gonna have to figure out which one of my kids I'm gonna have to sacrifice because it costs a grip to go to this school. I'm gonna have to pay this money back. And he said, oh, okay. He said, what program were you in at SC? And I said, I just finished the Peter Stark producing program. And he laughed. And when he laughed, he said, how's Larry doing? Larry Terman is the chairman of the program. Larry's so deep in the game. I don't know if y'all remember the movie The Graduate.
Yes.
All right, so Larry produced The Graduate.
Okay.
And he produced Jaws. So he that dude. Right. So he wanted them cats. And I said he's good. And he was like, I was one of the first people to come through the Stark program. And what that showed me in that moment was, remember when I was telling y'all we moved to LA, I didn't know nobody. I wasn't in none of the little in cliques or in crowds. I didn't have no phone call I could make, none of that. What I learned was this program that I had just graduated from was like Hollywood's equivalent of the mafia. Right?
You was made.
Exactly.
So you go there.
Exactly. Then, but as I'm in the program, I'm researching and I'm learning it. Like all of the who's have come through Stark that's really doing big things, but not many brothers and sisters get opportunities to come into that space. So once again, y'all, I really feel like it was God sort of pushing and pulling me in a lot of different ways to move into spaces that I didn't feel qualified to be in. Right. And that was another thing that I think I had to really overcome, walking in spaces that he's prepared for me that I don't feel like I deserve to be in. Right. That's something I think just brothers, period. We need to own the spaces that we walk into.
No question.
It's power in that. It's power in that. So at the end of the interview, Jack says, let's keep the conversation going. And I'm like, okay. All right, keep the conversation going. So I'm going back to work and I'm not down because I think it was a good meeting, but I was like, that ain't gonna be nothing. And I think about 2 days later, Karen called me and said, David, they want to offer you a job.
You do it.
Right? And I said, okay. And she said, no, they want to bring you on staff as a staff writer on Shades of Blue.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna put it in perspective, and it's Jennifer Lopez, it's NBC Universal. It's going from, what was I making at Crate and Barrel? I think $11
25 more than my son. That's the narrative.
Right. It was 25 cents more than my son to $5,700 a week.
Damn.
That so
Right.
when I say he changes situations
Overnight.
at the snap of a finger, because when I was working as a writer's assistant, I think I was making $15 an hour, right? And at that point, for me, I knew it was real when the $2,000 thing happened. That's when I really knew it was real.
Yeah.
But when they offered me that job, and out of ignorance, again, I had no idea what they made.
Yeah.
Right. I've been through this program. I ain't really asked. I ain't really talking to nobody about it, and wasn't really talking about that. I was just trying to get through the program. And it literally just changed everything. It was game changing. And here's what I learned, though. Here's what I learned.
Real, man.
They hired me, and this is going back to what we talk about now about being in these spaces. I learned that I got hired from Karen through the diversity program that I was telling y'all about. So ignorant me, at first I'm mad because you didn't hire me because I'm a talented writer. You hired me because I'm Black and y'all need to get some people of color, in the room.
Yeah.
But what I realized was, damn how you got in the room.
Right. Get in there.
Take over.
You in the room, right?
Take charge.
Own that.
Yeah.
And at that point, once again, the mind shift, the attitude shift, I said, I'm gonna make myself indispensable to these people. They're not gonna be able to find their socks without me. First dude at the office, last dude to leave. When the showrunner needed help on the weekends, on Saturday and stuff like the Saturday and Sunday, hey Dave, I need somebody to talk through, these story points and these idea points. I'm there. What time you want to get started? Let's rock. And that's just what it was. And I told him, I was like, it don't matter to me who pays my salary. I don't care about that, because the education that I'm getting right now and the actual experience I'm getting is priceless.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
And then from there, I was able to work. I left Shades of Blue and then went to. I worked with Reggie and Gina Bythewood. Gina directed Love and Basketball. Reggie
One of my favorite
Bythewood
movies.
is doing. He's doing that Kevin. The basketball movie with not Kevin Garnett.
It's
Brother
not
that plays
like
for
the sequel.
Brooklyn.
The who Brooklyn?
Brooklyn Nets.
Kevin Durant,
No.
James Harden, Kyrie Irving.
Durant.
Yeah, Kevin
Durant. Yeah, my fault. Durant. Durant got a TV show now about how he,
Yes,
moves.
yes,
Yeah.
I saw that.
So Reggie Bythewood is doing that, but I worked for them on a show called Shots Fired. They did it's a little bit of a flip on. They had a black cop who shot a white teen, a white boy during a traffic stop. So it was a little bit of a flip on what we see. And then to cover up and and all of that, but it was a brother who was the one that shot the white kid. And then from there I went from Shots Fired to 7 Seconds, which was an amazing experience. 7 Seconds for Netflix. Went from 7 Seconds to the second season of The Chi.
Yep.
I was able to come back to Chicago and write on a television show that was being shot in Chicago.
Shout out to whichever writer stole Tyrone idea with the whips and the cars, because the shot they acting like they eccsc on the shot. Y'all ain't saw it?
Yeah.
They was in Tyrone head. Whoever it wasn't, we asked David already when we first met him. Was it him?
Low key, man, what probably happened is they saw y'all, in some capacity and said, you know what, we need to do that or incorporate that, into the series. And again, I don't know that for certain, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Yeah.
Man, I'm like, well, they could have called us to do the scene.
We could have drove around ourselves.
Right. I mean, like I said, we keep this conversation going.
Yeah,
we gonna have that. That's what it's gonna be.
The conversation is going.
Yeah. So I mean, but for me, the journey from South side of Chicago, thinking that LA and Hollywood might as well be the moon because of my background, because of where I come from, because my people didn't have no money. My father hustled. My father was the dude who was a bricklayer. He was a licensed hairstylist. He hustled and he did what he had to do, to take care of his family. My mother had the straight gig. She was working down at Blue Cross, but they had me young. She was 17, he was 16. They was kids just trying to figure it out. And, this is in the 60s, man, the late 60s. I don't want to date myself too much, but it was during a time where, Chicago was popping. There was a lot going on. You had the riots, the Democratic National Convention and all of that foolishness, and gang banging was being birthed in a real way. And, like I said, but, between the civil rights movement and then all of the other things that were going on in Chicago, it was the spot. Chicago was a hot place. And, they did the best they could with what they had, but they always pushed us to, be better. I was telling Tyrone earlier, my father would always say, I do what I do so you don't have to.
That's right. No, really. Yeah. So my next question would be, because that's interesting, and I'm so hopeful. It's pretty much you don't let your background dictate how you or your upbringing dictate how you move in the spaces on this earth. Right?
It's gonna take us to save us.
So we, especially with us and us meeting you as formerly incarcerated individuals, and just having you in our space, right? You could be anywhere else. The fact that God aligned our minds up and hearts up. To where there's always opportunities, that he always create opportunities. He always allows you to be in a space. And how you take charge of a space or time or season is on you. It seemed like you decided that you was gonna take charge of your space, your own talent, your own dream. And you proceeded to pursue them. And none of us ever get here by ourselves.
No.
We always have people in the background or on the foreground working our dream with us, right? So I know that's what I know about
tools
ECC.
and vessels that God put there to help you along your way.
ECCSC is has been there for me, for the guys, for everybody, Tracy, everybody who we've been working this space.
I want to say something, y'all,
Go ahead, sir.
about eccsc, right? So I came into contact with these brothers and with Miss Tracy. We were working on a television series here in Chicago called 61st Street for AMC. The second I walked into the building, one of the brothers that worked on our production team ran up to me, and the boy damn near tackled me. Dave, you got to come and meet these brothers. This place is amazing. You ain't gonna believe what they doing up in here. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on, man. Let me put my jacket down. Let me take my bag off my shoulders, man. What's going on? So he told me just a little bit about what was happening. But beyond what Noah, it's interesting that his name was Noah, right?
Noah.
It's interesting.
Right,
yeah,
man.
it's interesting that his name was Noah, right? So Noah had told me that. And I felt when I walked into the building, I said, there's something about this space. Not only is it an amazing space for what we need to do from, a filmic standpoint, right? It's everything that we want and we need, but there's a spirit in this building that's undeniable. And then they took me, I think I met you first, Greg. They took me to Greg's office. He and I chopped it up for a second. And then I met Tyrone. And after talking to these two dudes for 30 seconds, I felt like we was kindred spirits. Yes, I just felt like they get it. They get what I'm trying to do. I definitely get what they trying to do. And we really, it was really just about building. Courtney Vance came into the building. Courtney B. Vance. Now this dude is one of the
Hollywood,
most celebrated actors in the
right?
game. I think
I need the sound to come on.
Exactly. You got to stand up and dip with it when you say his name.
Courtney,
You know what I mean? B. Vance. You know what I mean? This brother and his wife are just is black excellence. Angela Bassett, just black excellence at its finest, at its highest. The most respected people in the game. Courtney came into the building and said the exact same thing that I said. He hadn't even met y'all yet, right? But he said, David, there's something about this building, about this space, man. What do they do here? And I said, I'm glad you asked me that. Courtney, let's go and holler at these cats right now. Long story, Courtney and I, we would pray on set. So people would look at us like we was kind of weirdos anyway. Not that I care about none of that, but y'all just got to understand the industry that we in.
Man, it's rough.
That doesn't happen.
Gotta be brothers.
They don't do that. They just don't. But by the end of production, what started is like, me and Courtney, we would just dap up and we would just, hey, Father, strengthen us and walk with us through this day. Help us to get what we need. We shot 61st Street, y'all, on the south side of Chicago last summer without incident. Without incident. We didn't get shut down for COVID. We didn't have nobody get robbed didn't nobody shoot at the set. We didn't have nobody getting jumped. None of our equipment got stolen. So I feel like we had to thank him every single day for the cover that he provided us while we were able to, just build and produce, right? Because we all know what our city is in right now, and we know the chaos. But when I tell y'all the looks on these kids' faces when they see these cameras, and when they would see us, these trucks pull up, and they fascinated, and awesome, it's like, oh my God, what are they doing?
To the center, bro, and I was looking like, what the heck?
That's real.
Transform this place into
just
the unity of production, man. And another thing, the way money is used as a tool for your purpose.
Oh, absolutely. They spared no expense, right? I mean, you got a budget, but they wanted to take care of the people that were allowing us to be in their spaces. Like we rented homes and we rented apartments, and we wanted to partner with y'all in a real way. You know what I mean? And at the same time, one of my mandates was, when we leave places and spaces, we need to leave them better than we found them, right? And whatever that looks like, if we need to donate equipment, we shot over at Kennedy King. We built them kids a whole whole set. Like they could shoot a talk show, you know, like if they wanted to, you know, over at Kennedy King, the way we left it and the way we set it up. But that was a mandate. And I, you know, told the people that, you know, write checks for us, I was like, look, we need Black businesses to cater. We need when we're gonna do donuts and cupcakes and cakes and cookies and stuff, we need to find Black-owned businesses to support that. We need to be a part of the community in a real way. We need to do school supplies for kids. We need to, all of the things that we're gonna do, and we're gonna be a part of the community in a real way. That's what we're gonna have to do. And please don't disrespect the people that live in these neighborhoods. That's right. You know, while we working. Because that's a reflection on the show. Right. It's a reflection on us. And if you catch one of the brothers and sisters in a bad way, you might get your head ripped off your shoulders. You get what your hand called for. What y'all don't understand is that you think the South Side and the West Side of Chicago is Beirut. That's not what it is. People will treat you the way that you treat them. If you show up with respect, you're going to get respect. If you show up out of pocket and occupying a community, you're going to get dealt with, you know, and that's just what it is. That's common sense. But a lot of times, you know, sometimes a lot of people think that, you know, we can do whatever we want. No, you can't. You know? Yeah. But again, you know, that was our mandate, and that was the way we wanted to get down. And I think, you know, we owe a lot of that to just the way Courtney showed up as number one on the call sheet. He demanded respect. And that was the way we got down, you know, prayer and respect. That's the way we get down. It was an honor to have you all, man. And just to, you know, you see Courtney B. Vance, the Johnny Carkin, you see all the different roles he has played. Yeah. And then to sit down and actually talk to the man, it's like, man, this is cool. He's what they call well adjusted. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You know, it don't seem like the fame has went to his head. And in the space, when I told him about it, he was like, man, what y'all doing? I broke it down like, as ex-cons, this is what we do. He's like, what? He said, man, once we done with this set, I'm going to reach out to you, and I'm going to, me and David, we going to get up with y'all. Yeah. He didn't give me the finish the conversation going. The conversation going. So he said, we're gonna finish this conversation. Yeah. And I'm like, no, man. I'm like, that's not real, right? Yeah. Talking about this, watching this man from prison on all the movies and television shows, and then seeing this, bro, in our location, and we got that opportunity to show our humanity and see you all, right? And that was a blessing that's only God can deliver, right? Yeah. Say that. Yeah. And
I got on my Clubhouse that Courtney B. Vance told me I'm dope. I don't know if y'all know that song by Toby Niway, right? He got a song where Erykah Badu told him, like, it's live. Yeah. Where he showed Erykah and Dave Chappelle telling him that he's special. Like, my mama told me I was a joke. Yeah. But Dave Chappelle and Erykah Badu, right? Yeah. On my Clubhouse, I definitely put Courtney B. Vance told me I'm dope. Like, I could carry that. Yeah, yeah. Like, you can, no matter what society say he is, I told you I got affinity for Black men, right? Yeah. Who stand in their king. Yeah. Yeah. He is a king, right? Yeah. It's looking at us in our space saying, I'm proud of y'all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's motivation. He did. I mean, I can't. He did. He like, you know, you can't put words to that motivation, right? And what it did to us in our space.
And there's no fronting to that dude. Like he's a whatever's on his heart. That's what's going.
So we got a call coming in. We ready?
Let's see who this is.
Caller, 708. Come on, this is you're on the Frontline show. Caller, who's calling?
This is Ziv, Mr. Muhammad. How are you, sir? I'm watching you guys.
This is who?
This is Ziv.
How you doing, my brother? How you doing, my brother? You got any you got a question or comment for our brother David Shanks?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I can't say I know what the gentleman has done in the movement until further what is.
I think you may have to go. You may have to come closer to the mic or.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, let me step back a moment and say thank God for this opportunity to address Mr. Muhammad and the two gentlemen that are sitting there with you all. What you are doing right now is something that is what is in television terms called planetarian. Something has never been done before. What you are doing, Mr. Muhammad, and we've never bumped heads, but we have an unbelievable respect for each other and what you are doing. And I love how God have used your life. But here's what I want to put on the table to you three gentlemen as we move forward into 2022. And the only movement that has never been penetrated in America is giving the ex-convicts and ex-felon people community, as they've done with the gays, as they've done with the Jews, as they do in Chinatown, as they do with the Hispanics.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing about effort, that's one thing that an ex-convict have that a regular citizen may not have and that is going to use is we don't have an American Express card, we don't have a Discovery card, but we have a voter registration card. Yeah. And what I challenge you, Mr. Muhammad, is to do this. And I've been in the movement, Mr. Muhammad and the gentleman, for 50 years. In 1967, the Wall of Respect. When I get there, I'm leaving my vacation in California. After 50 years, I decided that at least, and Mr. Muhammad, this is the only thing I pass to you, is take some time out for yourself, some serious time out. Not no 1, 2, 3 days. But here's what I want to put on your guys' table for 2022. Nationally, what you have done, you've done about 6 or 7 things that can be perpetrated across the country. How do you say, is it 3 things that you could pull off in 2022 nationally? That's one of the challenges. Then the next challenge I give to you is how can you put a program together that I call mental health education, where ex-felons get the opportunity to show what they learned. They can be nurses. They can be peer counselors. So that's the second thing now. You can go back. And the third thing, and I'm going to get off because I appreciate this opportunity. The third thing is how do you link with a national company that will take those 2 programs, that transportation system you have, and use it and we'll have the guts to stand up and say, this is a program that will affect millions of ex-convicts across the country. So that's why I challenge you as you move across the country. Let me get off and keep listening to you all. And sir, I appreciate you for stopping in. And the gentleman on the other side, he's been with you, Mr. Muhammad, for a while. And I'm excited about Mr. Muhammad. This is to you personally. What you have done is like what, you hear about Mayor Daley and Harold Washington and the great singers. You have set a program forward that will be duplicated around this country. And I thank God for you. I hate that he sent you through the experience that you had to go to, but that's what got you to this moment. I thank you for giving me this time. God bless you all. I'm going to keep listening.
God bless you,
I want to hear more of what you have to say. And then the last thing is, how do we put a program to reduce some of the violence as we had into 22, 23, and 24? I'm going to get off. I apologize.
No, you, hey, brother, I love it. To his question of the violence, in every area where eccsc has been, we have a track record and proven metrics of violence reduction.
Say it.
People like you have to be just as proactive to tell our elected officials that the resources that you have squandered or waste of our tax dollars have to be better spent. If the people don't speak up, then surely I think that they're hearing us, man. And the fact that we can have a good brother, even like David, to come all the way from LA, not just to hang with us, but mostly to hang with us.
You feel me?
Mostly to hang, right?
Mostly to hang with us, and it's not many. We represent Chicago disenfranchised for real, and the issues that plague our communities. We are on the front line of reducing that violence, of building manhood, manhood training and response. We doing behavior modification, sir. We have a mentor program. We have all the things that you spoke of,
except the big powerhouse company, right?
all the things, and we got them too.
Speak that into existence.
We actually have a Walmart that recognize what we do, and it's like now that God is starting to place these pieces to the puzzle in our lives. It's on us and it's on you to be a part of the change you want to see.
Say it.
Our motto is it's going to take us to save us. That means that even if there's no big powerhouse company, we have to organize and come together to recognize the good things in our community and back them and get behind that and push it.
Say it.
So we even are in the process of building. eccsc would be voter registrars. We are building our voting block because I recognize and have said this since I've been in prison, that ex-felons are the biggest voting block in the country, meaning that every one of us as ex-felons bring 5 to 10 people that will vote our interest. Every female in my household will vote my interest.
Say it.
Yeah.
My children will vote my interest.
Yeah.
So we represent not just ex-cons, but we bring with us family members that believe in what we do, that will actually vote our interest because they love us and they respect what we do. Yeah. So with that being said, we on the move. We're not sitting around waiting on nobody to give us handouts. We have programs. Please visit our website to see our programs.
eccsc.org.
eccsc.org. Visit our website to get insight. Come visit, pay our center a visit. Come through to come eat food with us. Come hang with us. Come just observe how the energy that David talked about that's in the room of black men who at any given time you may walk in, there's 200 years of prison time there, 300 years of prison time there. But all of us are working hard for our community, and we're saying we want to be the example. We are the example that our communities need, and hopefully, just like we attract brothers like David and one of the Hollywood's top black actors, Courtney B. Vance,
man.
And by extension, Angela Bassett, because that's her husband. I'm sure he told her how dope we are, Greg.
What? We was on the Zoom at they crib or something. I'm just telling y'all, man. We was on the Zoom with the brother, man. I'm just saying.
We on our way, and we are really here to represent the brothers in the community and the streets to say you don't have to kill each other. We are the examples that there's a will. If there's a will, there's a way. And if you we're going to continue to be an example, and we're going to continue to follow instructions because we get instructions from our brothers on how to move as well. So, and we accept that. Tracy always talking about how we move and be mindful.
Iron sharpens iron.
So with that being said, before we close out, I want to give our brother the floor to say anything for the next 5 minutes that he think Chicago needs to hear as it relates to how we must move and how we must serve our communities and be messengers of God in whatever form that is.
I just want to say, Tyrone, we got to continue to pray and seek God.
Yes, sir.
We have to. And I'm not the dude that's lived the holiest life. I fall, I make mistakes, but I know from which my help comes.
Yes, sir.
You know, I do. Mm-hmm. And I know the power of being in a place where you saw no hope, you saw no upward mobility, no opportunity for anything that was going to be positive, right? I've been in that space. But I promise y'all, and this is the example that I want to set for my city. I love Chicago. I love this place. Anything that I produce, anything that I write is going to be centered in Chicago. It's going to be, right? Man. And if God willing, they give me green light to bring projects back, we're coming to Chicago. We are.
Pray.
So opportunities will come. I'm going to speak that into existence. Sure. But what I want to challenge everybody to really, really, truly embrace is that there is hope. You can change your situation. You just have to make the decision to change your situation. Ooh. That's where it starts. It starts with the choice to say that I want my life to be different.
Yes.
That's what happened with me. There was no gas in the car. Tell y'all why I ran out of gas, right? I'm in the car. My baby is in the back seat. She in a car seat. She said, Daddy, can you get me a Happy Meal? I didn't have $6 to get the baby a Happy Meal. And we driving, to the house, take out the car seat. And I'm distracted because, I get in the house, but I'm messed up behind that. But the gas light was on the whole time. So I couldn't drive myself to work. So now I got to call Crate and Barrel and explain to them that I'm finna be late. The reason I'm finna be late is because I got to walk to work now. Ain't no gas in the car. And I had no money to get on the bus. That's what it was. And as I walked to work, took me about 45 minutes, almost an hour to walk to work. So now I'm an hour late and, I'm walking. But that walk was God's opportunity to really tap me in my forehead and say, look, man, I need your complete and undivided attention right now. You want your life to continue to look like this? Keep your mindset the way that it is. You want to not be able to get your baby a Happy Meal? You can't scrape $6 together to get the baby a Happy Meal? If that's how you want to keep living, man, you want your lady that you can't take to a nice dinner because all the money you make is going to a bill or rent or whatever, and it ain't no extra. You can't save nothing. What are you going to do when both of y'all are 65 or 67 and it's time to retire? You ain't got no savings. You ain't put nothing away. You don't have an inheritance to leave your children. No legacy, nothing to get them started in a real way, right? That's a man's responsibility.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's my responsibility. If you want to continue on that path, keep thinking the way you're thinking. You have to change your mindset. Yes, and if you don't change your mindset, this is what your life is going to look like. It's what it's going to continue to look like. Mm-hmm. And like I said, y'all, it didn't get real to me until I said to my wife, I want to go to grad school. And she said, what? You want to do what? I'm going to ride with you, but why are we doing this? What is that for? I don't know. It's just, I know that it's going to help me move from point A to point B, but I have to do this. Yeah. And in doing it and taking the steps to do it, it was almost like God said, okay, now we're ready. Let's move.
Yes, sir.
Stop worrying about how it's going to happen, right? If gang banging right now or selling dope is all that you see for yourself right now, you need that moment of clarity. I know where my moment of clarity came, but everybody's moment of clarity is different. You need that moment of clarity. And in that moment of clarity, my prayer would be that you open your heart and you allow the Father to speak to you in a real way. Because if you allow him to speak to you in a real way, the vision is on your heart. He gave it to you. He gave you the dream, right? Whether or not it's going to happen is your self-talk. It's all on you. He gave you the dream. If your dream is to, and again, if it's to act, if it's to write, if it's to rap, if it's to be the best boxer, in the game, if you out here in the street and you fighting, just to be fighting, if God gave you that gift and that's your skill, hone your craft.
That's right.
Train, right? And put yourself in a position to use the gift that he gave you in a real way. So much of our leadership is out in the street.
Yes, sir.
Right now.
Absolutely.
And the energy is misdirected.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's just misdirected energy.
That's facts.
So again, my prayer is that, we don't lose hope. And that if we want our lives to be different, make the choice, the conscious choice. It starts with a choice. I don't want my life to look like this no more, and be genuine in that.
Yes.
And then take the steps that you need to move from point A to point B. I didn't know how I was going to end up moving my family to LA. I'm an actor. I tell people that all day long. But you know where God got me right now? He's got me writing and producing television series.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost kind of like he said, look, son, I know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want to act. We're going to get back to that. But this is what I need you to do right now.
Mm.
And if you do this for me right now and you faithful to this, I'm going to give you what you want.
Yep.
I'm going to give you what you need. I believe that, man, with every fiber of my being. My morning affirmation is, by God's grace and mercy, I am writing, producing, directing, and acting in award-winning, critically acclaimed film and television projects that yield me an annual high six-figure salary so that I might do your will and consistently provide for my family. Heavenly Father, if this is your will for my life, if this is pleasing in your sight, let the resources and the provisions come. And as they come, let me step boldly, fully, and confidently into all that it is that you've called me to be. Search me, God. If there's anything in my countenance, anything in my being that is not in perfect alignment with your will for my life, give me the strength to repent and to turn away. And if I can't do it in my strength, your will be done in my life. That's on a loop, y'all, in my head. That's on a loop. You have to make a choice. And once you make a choice and you figure out what it is that you want to do, do it. God gonna give you the answers. He's gonna give you everything that you need to make it happen. You have to believe that. So I wanna just thank eccsc for allowing me to come up here and share with y'all and to build with y'all. And I'm looking forward to doing some amazing things with this team. I really am. It's done. It's done.
Let thy will be done.
It is done.
With that being said, is it any way that people could follow you, David? If you would like to reveal
James David Shanks on Facebook. I'm an old school dude.
Yeah.
And I think I'm J David Shanks on Instagram. I think. I think, y'all. My daughter handles like all of my social media, stuff. But yeah, hit me up. I want to engage. I want to connect. In any way that I can help, I will. So.
Well, no doubt. Well, people, like you say, eccsc and the dream of just conceiving it and then going to work. And then God take care of the rest.
Yep, say that.
Because without conceiving it, then you get the Snoops, the Griggs, the different brothers that's a part of eccsc. Jordan, Mook, give our little brothers a shout out. Jeremiah, Vic,
Big Breeze,
Shelly.
Yeah.
Who else? Jordan,
Mario,
Tracy, who handles all our operations sometimes. Bird, Shakira. Who else? Sharon. Who else we got over there that's on the inside the office?
Vic? Did we miss
Vic?
Vic.
Mario, our content director. When y'all see all them black and white pictures, even with Nate. So we just want to give a shout out and love to Earl. Thank you, Earl, for giving me an opportunity, man, to be a part of this historical franchise that you built over here, man. And always showing up. Earl, we did so much. We did so much good, and we got so much quality, bro. Earl David told me my money ain't no good for this. Ain't no good here. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, Earl, but I probably not. But my money ain't no good. Give us some money. So just man, it's all in fun, man. And thank you, Earl, and Wanda for always being there for us and showing up. And we had a lot of weight on our shoulders as men, even never having to deal with our own issues of mass incarceration. We get right into the grind of serving our community. That's why we call ourselves community servants. And I thank the caller for saying, take care of yourself, because I don't.
You don't.
And I don't, you know,
Too
I
busy
have
eating
time,
grass every damn day.
Grass. but I don't have, I mean, I don't have, it's like I don't have time to take care of myself, because my community is so pressing with issues, and we got so many issues and people we have to take care of. But I'm getting better. I'm gonna get better.
And shout out to the black women that help him get better. Shout out to Tiffany Shanks, who we heard so much about.
Lord.
Shout out Tracy Bay.
Tiff, Trey.
We appreciate y'all and the
Luke
women
Dog
who
it
stand
dog.
behind this movement. Without the women, safe to say, we'll be worse off as well. So to the women who don't know their power, as you just heard Mr. Shanks say, stand in your queen, help
vision.
your king get to across the street to that vision. It ain't easy. We can't do it alone.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tiff Shanks. We appreciate you, ma'am.
So with that being said, let's get it. We'll be back next week, man. And as I always say, sponsored by hashtag support your local weed man. Hashtag support your local weed man. And hashtag support your local weed man. It's gonna take us to save us. eccsc.org.
Damn, we got a new hashtag. Dante Wright, rest in peace, man, it's getting bad. This shit still happening in 2021. Cops can't tell the difference between a taser and a gun. The black man life is gone because of a mistake. Black lives don't matter because of the options you make. Fuck that. We gotta revolutionize. Tired of praying and marching. That shit is getting tired. Enough is enough. George Floyd